and welcome to The Long Run, your live stream for the everyday runner from the 40 Runs running community. We talk all things running every Friday at 7 o'clock. Here we are on YouTube and Facebook, but you can also download us on Spotify, Apple, and Google. If you want to take us for a run on your as a podcast at a later date, you're more than welcome to. I'm Ian Wilkinson. I'm here with 40 Runs founder Chris Ford, who is undertaking a new role tonight in the absence of producer Toby. He has been he's in charge of all the wheels and cogs to make it all tick along lovely
what could possibly
for the next
go wrong?
hour or so. So yeah, exactly. We don't know what could possibly go wrong, and we've got a few personnel changes as well, haven't we, Chris? You're not the only one who's moved.
Yeah, we've all moved seats tonight. We've all had a shuffle along, but it's been improved by Mel joining us and the captain. So happy days.
Yeah, hello, Matt. Hi, Matt. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Absolute pleasure. You know, it was only a matter of time. You know, we brought the pros on. We've done 2 or 3 weeks. You know, just plodding along, trying to find our feet, and it's time to bring the A team on. So it's great to have you, mate. Great to see you. And Mel's here. Mel Howes. We're going to have a chat about parkruns because it's 8 days.
I know.
8 days until the return of Parkrun. So we're going to be having a chat with Mel about all things Parkrun. She'll be able to answer every single question you've got about Parkruns, except one, which is, where did I put my barcode?
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't know that. She doesn't know where you put your barcode.
You won't see it on the podcast, but it's on the back of my phone. I stuck it to the back of my phone so I couldn't lose it.
See, there. So there's your first Parkrun tip. Oh, Al's got his. This is excellent. Very good. Well done. So, yeah, we've got plenty to be getting on with. Chris, we'll review the weekend. We left people worried about your well-being last week because you were jumping out of an aeroplane. So,
perfectly good airplane. Well, I think, firstly, Ian, I think because Toby's not here, because he's lazy, I would just like to ask everybody to stick their questions in via, because that's what he does, isn't he? He says it on Facebook, hit the link that I put in the group. And if you're on YouTube, stick your questions in, whether it be running related, park run, running shoes, something for the captain, something for Ian or Super Alan Bowley, whatever you want, stick them in.
Oh, I forgot about Al. Al's here as well.
Yeah, big Al's down now.
Super Alan Bowley this week.
But yeah, no, I left you about to jump out of a plane. The video, by the way, drops this weekend. It's a 2-parter because there's so much of it. And it comes out tomorrow. Well, it's actually midnight tonight. And then the second one, the follow-up, is on Sunday. And it is enthralling, I would say. But the guys did an amazing effort. And I just want to give a big shout out to all the guys who did it, because we raised... everybody who jumped that weekend, we raised £10,000 for the charity, which is incredible.
Oh, wow, that's brilliant.
That will change 5 young people's lives forever.
Effort.
So, yeah, great job. Yeah,
well
amazing.
done, mate.
And we all survived, except for Toby, who's not here.
People will think this is deliberate. People will think that, you know, we're sort of like, you know, doing a spoiler, you know, what's happened to Toby, you know.
He's not recovered. All I would say is that he did, and he might be listening. It was Alan. Was it you, bruv, that caught him walking? Someone.
Yes, it's on film.
Yeah, someone caught him walking. Yeah, we got him. He was caught walking. It's the first time, apart from when he went into the Portaloo for 18 times at the Dorney Lakes Marathon, which we've never mentioned, that he had to run the spots. That he
was disqualified as well. He had help.
Oh yeah, he was disqualified. Don't spoil the video, Alan. Don't spoil the video.
Yeah, we can't have any spoilers, mate. Don't go too early. But Chris, so what was it like jumping out of a plane?
It was all right, bro. To be honest with you, I've got to be straight up. It weren't nothing major. Everyone was said that it was going to be awesome, the best thing I've ever done, and all this sort of stuff. But it was like, right, I'm on the ground, off we go. And I got more of a buzz from seeing all the guys crossing the line. If that, like when we finished, I had more emotion and sort of energy and just pumping when I was seeing like Wendy and Lynn and Sabrina and all the guys coming through and crossing the line and finishing what we'd started. I was more pumped about that than the jumping out of the plane bit. But
so, Matt, would you fancy it? You tempted, or have you done it?
Was that Mel? Or was that me?
You.
I'm doing it next year.
Oh yeah, you signed up already.
The captain and his lovely wife are doing it next year. So we got 10 months to prepare. So, which will be challenging for us both in different ways. But yeah,
I don't know if I'd want 10 months or 10 minutes to prepare. Really, I don't know which way it's sort of like on the barometer I'd be.
It's all right. It's
what about you, Mel? You up for it?
I'm quite scared of heights. My husband's done Carl's. He's done one before with his school stuff, but I sat with the class bear and watched. But I am tempted. I am slightly tempted. Maybe I need to get over that fear of heights and do
it, Mel. There's still space on Sunday.
Yeah, so there's still spaces available for anybody mad enough to think that, following everybody's footsteps. But I mean, on a serious note, what a great effort for 10 grand for the charity is brilliant.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Really good.
Yeah.
Hats off to everybody, So yeah, good. Drop in the comments. Tell us, if you were one of the lucky. How many did you have? Was it 10 of you? 10, 12, something like that?
We had 10 that jumped. Oh no, Nettie, bless her, she was injured, so she didn't. She's still got to do it. She's doing it in August. But yeah, we had 9 poor souls that went up and did it. And apart from Toby, we all made it back. Oh, spoiler.
Brilliant.
So Al, what did it look like from the ground, mate? Was everybody having a good time?
It really did look amazing to see the chutes open and see everyone drop to the ground and then see their faces as they kind of hit the ground. It's that moment of shock and awe kind of kicked in. And it was great to then kind of cheer them, seeing them really struggle, seeing them suffer, seeing them have those heavy legs. It was great.
He loves it, doesn't he? He loves seeing people suffer. It's outrageous.
Yeah, I plan still being too old and too fat for next year, but I'm working on it.
Well, working on being too fat for next year.
And too old, yeah.
Never too old.
Never.
Oh, I'm glad it went well. That's brilliant. Chris, what else you been up to, mate?
Not a lot, bruv. I've not had a very good week. Running's had to take a back seat this week. I had a good session with the guys in Hertford and Broxbourne on Wednesday. I nearly killed the guys, most notably Sabrina, who hadn't recovered when I saw her on Thursday, which was good news. I've had an up and down week, and I'm busy. I've got to drive after this straight down to Swansea because I'm back in the classroom this weekend carrying on my athletics coach qualification. So that's
right. So what's that? Just sort of like a series of lectures and things like that? And
it's just basically me looking awesome and pretending that I know what they're talking about.
Nodding your head in the right places and all that sort of business.
But the good thing is after I've done all this, I'll actually be able to go to the Olympics and teach people like Asher Smith to run faster. Oh,
well, that'll be all right then. And of course, the irony is that it's an English athletics qualification and you've got to travel to Swansea.
Correct.
So, yeah, that way go across the creek. Well, you never know you're going to bump into, mate. It could be great, couldn't it?
Yeah. No, in all seriousness, I am looking forward to it. I go in these things with open eyes and open arms. And I think, if you can continue to learn, obviously I've been through the qualifications process that I took upon myself to better myself. And this is the final stage of, I don't think any more qualified in terms of athletics and running after this. So it's a bit of a head slog, but I'm fine with it,
Okay, that's great. We'll so if you've got any questions that you want to send us, Al will be compiling those as we go through the course of the day. Mel will also get the opportunity to do our lightning round, which I'm sure she's really looking forward to. Well, she seems like, she doesn't know actually much about it, but I'm sure it'll be fine by the time we think. So before we get to that, I just wanted to have a quick chat with Matt, who's going to be co-hosting today. Welcome along, mate. Thanks ever so much for helping us out. Toby's obviously dropped us in the mire, and you were the only man that we could really get for the job. You're the top of the list. And
that's too kind.
Only one man for the job.
Absolutely. So we're just how are things going with you? I know you've had a few injury issues.
Yeah, it's not been the best start of the year. It's quite weird being in this scenario because I think the last time I did a quiz was just before Christmas, and it's crazy to think we're in July already. But yeah, no, I've been out probably since the end of February. I was foolishly doing intervals and hit the last set, full out sprints, and felt the groin go, and I've never really didn't recover in the time I thought I would, and reluctantly started writing the checks to the physio, and it sort of went up to my abductor. So we've had a few months off, a lot of strength work, which Chris knows is not stuff I enjoy.
No,
a lot lot of foam rollers. So you know, that's gone really well. And you know, touch wood, I'm back running, albeit slowly and very short distances. Just contended with a little bit of muscle imbalance at the moment, which is just causing a little bit of knee pain. But again, that's just more strengthening. So looking at the quads and the hamstrings now. So it's been really frustrating. But look, you know, it is what it is. And my goal is to get back running to the level I was at the start of the year. And then we build from there. It
does seem, though, as if you've had a sort of plan of action and you've been able to sort of tick things off as you've been going along. So you've had the little targets to keep you going. Is that sort of like a fair assumption?
Yeah, and I think I probably, you know, Chris won't thank me for saying this. I think I deal with it slightly easier. I mean, having a bit of time out isn't a major problem. There's, you know, other interests that keep me sane and keep me going. But it, you know, it has been hard, absolutely. But I think all along, I've sort of had the London virtual at the back of my mind. So that's always been the target. Not sure whether that's still achievable. We'll see come the end of this month. But it's small baby steps. So we've got past 5K. In the next week, it's going to get to 10K, and then we'll go to the half, and we'll build from there. And what will be, you know. And you know, I'll be back out there with the 40 guys as soon as it's safe for me to do so without more permanent damage.
And you've got yourself a treadmill. How's that going?
I know. Early days. It's not paid back just yet, but yeah, no, just balances the training out a bit. But I think with the weather this weekend, I think I'd rather be outside running where there's a bit of a breeze.
Now, lots of people will know you from the groups that you sort of took up the mantle of being the quizmaster during the quizzes during lockdown, which I know lots of people were boosted by, you know, in those difficult times when we couldn't go out and we couldn't do much. You know, it was a big boost for the community. You know, so that's something you enjoyed doing, you know.
Oh, it's good fun. And you know what? You know, I know people who run some local pubs who are still doing it sort of 18 months on weekly, and credit to them. But no, I mean, it was a particularly tough time, wasn't it, for all? So it was great to be able to reach out to people, have some good banter. You know, we had some great evenings, a lot of heckling. We had a break. And then
mainly from me and Billy.
Billy, the emoji challenge. And then we obviously came back and we did one at Christmas, which was good fun. So, you know, they've not gone away forever. And, you know, we may bring one or two back at a convenient time if Chris allows. But no, it's good. It was good fun. It kept people's spirits up, didn't it? And let's face it, we all needed it at the time.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was one thing. It got me more involved in the group, actually. You know, it was something that brought it together, and it was something that I looked forward to on a particular night, and just see a few different faces and you get to know, you know, got to know more members of the group and things like that. I thought they were a big success, Chris. You were obviously very grateful for his efforts.
I mean, the stuff the captain did, stuff Stu was doing, all the people that were doing through lockdown, it was, if you actually stop for a second and look back at what we did as a community, the 40 Runs running community on Facebook during that time was unbelievable. Just the silly things like the challenges, but also just the checking in with each other as well, like people doing like the odd live stream, just general, you know, chit chat and banter and everything. I think it really made, especially the first lockdown, you know, where we was all in so much shock and was like, what? It just made it manageable, and we all got through it. I think with you know, a little bit more of a smile than maybe others. We were lucky, so lucky that we all came together, and it was incredible. And we raised a lot of money for charity as well. We did a load of virtual challenges, and we raised, like, I don't know what it was in the end, but loads of different charities, you know, every charity for a different medal. And we raised, like NHS one, there was like loads of money. So again, the community, like I said, actually you haven't seen the video, have you? But it's this week's video. It's the community coming together and being powerful together, and you know, raising £10,000 this weekend, and you know, but doesn't have to be about the money, but just coming together to support each other. This is where 40 Runs, what the guys have created, is so powerful. It's not just people meeting up at events and going for a run and going home again. Absolutely, that's the thing, isn't it? It's friendships, it's support, it's just a bit of a laugh. You know, you look at Big Fletch and he's asleep while the others are warming up at on Wednesday night. You know, all that sort of stuff. You know, that's where we are unique and we're different, and we stand out, and you know, we are all in this together, and it really is. It's incredible. I can't say it enough. It blows my mind.
I mean,
And
So
Matt, you've been right here from the start, haven't you?
it was just after what Chris, remind me, what was the tough London? Was it 2018 was the hot one, wasn't it? So
Yeah,
I joined 40 Runs just before that hot London marathon, and Chris and I met at the Hackney half
Yeah, Hackney
marathon,
Half.
which was
With
about
Hell's
3
Bells, wasn't
weeks after London, and I think that was the first official 40 meetup. I think
Yeah.
Hell's Bells was there. Trying to. There was a 5
Lynn
or 6 of us.
Lynn was there.
Lynn,
Poppy was there.
Poppy, and it's sort of, yeah. I mean, Chris and I sort of got to know each other during the event and then after. And I mean, I think for me, looking back over the last 17 months, I've seen Chris once during the pandemic, which is when I was fortunate to run with him and Toby during last year's virtual. But to think a lot of that stuff Chris has talked about, we would conceive on a weekly basis in a Pret in London. You know, we had regular lunch, and that's been completely wiped out. So life has changed for us, but it's great to see that the community is still vibrant, and you know, there are still good, fresh ideas coming up. It's just we're having to interact in a very different way at the moment.
Yeah, have we had any good sort of observations from the audience, Al? Sort of people chipping in? I see people Toby's getting a bit of a hammering about his disqualification last week, but lots of people pleased about
no spoilers.
Well, I'm sure we'll come to Toby again and again over the course of the evening, but we've had some questions in. I'll start with Ian Lowe, just in case he's waiting. He might be waiting on an answer, Chris, on this, but he's got his Adios 6 and he's not sure. 40 miles in and they seem to be the best shoe and the worst shoe all in one. What's your view? Have you had them? Have you tried them?
He's not going to like the answer. I'm not a big fan of Adidas shoes at all. Just watch my video on the Boston 10 and the what was the other one? The Adios Pro 2. Me and Adidas shoes, wherever you come from, just don't get on. So
I'm old school Adidas.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm the worst person to ask about Adidas shoes because I don't know about anybody else, but there's just certain brands, some people say about Hoka, some people say about other brands, they just don't suit them, and I can't find a pair of Adidas shoes that work for me. So hopefully that answers the question. I don't think it does, but
yeah. Next up, Barbara Mackey, you need to come back and tell us where you are. She said that all her races have been cancelled and she's looking for something else to do, but you haven't told us where you are.
Blimey.
So we're a bit lost in terms of recommendations. So come back on us and let us know. And then we've got a question in from Alison. Wants to know, in terms of Parkrun coming back, I'm sure Mel will have a view on this, but with all that enthusiasm and pent-up frustration, should we be going for it and smashing it out? Or is it turn up, enjoy, and just take in the atmosphere? What's your view on first Parkrun?
Me, I think it depends on how much you've been training during the period of time, and actually whether your course has had to have any tweaks or changes to it. I know there's a couple of little tweaks that are happening at Bushy, just because of being in one of the Royal Parks and things. So I think you just have to gauge it by yourself, how many numbers are turning up, and then just see how it is on the day, like you do with most park runs, I guess. You turn up on the day and you see how you're feeling, you listen to your body, and you take it from there. And after all, if it doesn't work how you want it, you've always got the next week.
That's the beauty of it, isn't it? There's always next
That's
week.
good advice.
Barbara's just come back out and says she's in Paisley in Scotland. So anywhere sort of
I
like
know.
the
So we'll have to put a request
Scotland,
out
really.
to the audience, won't we? Who's out there in Scotland and who's signed up for what? Let's help Barbara out with this one.
Come to next year's Edinburgh Marathon with me, Barbara. We'll have a whale of a time. It'll be great. I'm sure I won't be the only one there in a pink 40 shirt. So
no.
You'll love it.
Keep checking out your questions, guys.
Yeah, keep checking them out, particularly Parkrun ones, because it is Parkrun week. So
keep coming.
Now's the time to bring in Mel and have a proper chat. Thanks ever so much for joining us, Mel, this week's guest.
You're very welcome.
Lovely. That'd be brilliant. It's just great to see you. Must be a lot of excitement. We've got 8 days to go until Parkrun's coming back. What was it like when? Tell us what it was like when it started winding down and it looked like it wasn't going to happen.
It was all very, very quick. Because it all, I just remember being at the last Parkrun that we did, and we weren't sure whether Parkrun we still weren't sure at that point on the last Parkrun that we did, whether it was going to be coming back the next week or whether that was the last one. So we were kind of saying goodbye to people. We just didn't know what was happening. We didn't know about school closures at that point. We didn't know about the lockdown, but we kind of guessed where it was heading. It was quite a tricky one because obviously I'm at Bushy, so big numbers, and it was just trying to get people through. I mean, it was quite a cold day that day as well, but just trying to get people through the funnel as quickly as we could, trying to keep people at that point sort of socially distanced and not over each other, because obviously we have to squeeze up. We've got double funnel at that. So yeah, it was quite a strange time because we didn't know what was going to happen and when it was going to finish, and it only finished after we only found out it was the last one after we'd already had it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and so yeah, you're involved in Bushy Park. Obviously, you know, football's got Wembley and rugby's got Twickenham, and Parkrun's got Bushy Park, really, isn't it? I mean, it really is the sort of bastion. It's where it all started. It's the bastion of the whole movement, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it's, you know, it was started off by the 13 runners that started it on that first one when it was Bushy Park Trials, not Bushy Parkrun. But that's just grown and grown, even over the time that I've been doing Parkrun, from sort of having sort of 900 being a large number to, you know, our general numbers around just before we stopped because of COVID, we're around sort of 1400 weekly.
So how did you get involved in it?
By accident. Totally by accident. I had a friend who had been involved in parkrun for quite a while, and actually a more local parkrun to me was starting up called Crane Park, which is actually less than a kilometre from my house. And she suggested it might be something I'd like to do to get in to do some exercise. Can I just say, at that point I was a slug. I didn't do anything. I just sat on my backside and knitted, and occasionally if I tried to run even more than 100 meters, I'd get a calf stretch, you know, pull in my calf and all sorts of things. Exercise was not for me. And then a couple of years later, my husband came home and mentioned, said, oh, there's this thing called Parkrun where you can run for 5K. And I kind of said, I think I pointed that out to you when I mentioned it a couple of years ago, and you said I'd never be able to do it and run that far. Anyway, he was very keen. It was one of those kind of years when we were like, right, we're going to get on and do some exercise. So he printed off all the barcodes. I cycled down that week just to watch him. That was the idea, but I did put on a pair of shorts, and I thought, do you know what? I'll give it a go. At that point, I hadn't actually run since 1983.
Right.
The 1500 meters at school.
You don't look old enough. I'm not even that.
It's true. So yeah, so I ended up doing a bit of running, bit of walking. Came in at around 37 minutes or so. My first one, absolutely exhausted, didn't realise the etiquette of going down the funnel. I kept running and overtaking a few people, probably ran a bit slower than I actually did and probably got a higher time. But people, you know, put you straight very nicely. And then we decided to keep going back. I was one of those people who used to look out the window and going, I really hope it's raining because then I won't have to go, because I was a fair weather runner. And then got children. My daughter was doing Duke of Edinburgh's, and they support Duke of Edinburgh's really well. So we got her going down there volunteering. Of course, if she's got to be there volunteering every week, somebody's got to be there to take her.
Absolutely, yeah. Mum and dad taxi service. I'm well aware.
So that meant that I then had to run every week as well, or one of us did. And then Carl, as usual, got injured. So that was down to me to take her. And then I just got more and more involved. She loved the volunteering so much. So she encouraged us to take part in the volunteering as well.
So it's been a real sort of family effort then.
Absolutely.
And then, I mean, that's, you know, that's one of the, I mean, just to, in case anybody's been living in a cave for the last 10 years and, you know, or is relatively new to running and, you know, has come through, you know, perhaps taking it up during the lockdown. What sort of like, can you just give us a brief summary of what's involved with a parkrun, but, you know, if they want to go and run one?
You need to register on the website, first of all, and you register and you get yourself a barcode and print that off. And then it really is just a case of turning up and having a go. And there are people, you know, at all sorts of levels, and especially at Bushy, we've got people from, you know, babes in prams who are pushed around by mums and dads who run around with them. We've got people who run with dogs. We've got older people who run really fast. We've got older people who walk the route now, and we just have it's you can do whatever you like, run, walk or jog, and you can, you know, you can be there and take part, just getting out in that fresh air. And then you basically turn up, you start on that start line, you've got all the marshals guiding you round, and then you cross over that finish line and you follow down your funnel and pick up your little token and get it scanned, and then get your time.
Yeah, so it's really as simple as that, isn't it? You know, it's not a big, but it just brings so many people. It's brought so many people into running, and just looking up, you know, for the physical and mental health benefits. You know, have just been so big, haven't they?
Yeah, and I mean the physical and mental health benefits from the running, absolutely fantastic. But I know Parkrun did had a study done by, I can't remember which university it was, prior to lockdown, I think, but just about the benefits of the volunteering aspects as well, and how that can really support people with mental health as well as the running. So you don't have to be a runner, or if you are injured, you know, there are those options of still being part of the community and taking part and still getting all those mental health benefits as well. So
is there any, and what's like the preparations been? I mean, we've had a couple of false alarms, haven't we, that we thought we were coming back, and then you know, that, which has obviously been a bit frustrating. But what have the preparations been like in the last 2 or 3 weeks, when it's become apparent that this was going to be the day that it was all going to come back next Saturday?
Well, I was down at Bushy last night for us to have funnel training, because it's been we've had some people who've kind of run the funnel and things like that for years and years and years, and actually they've decided it's their time to take a step back from Parkrun. So we've got a new sort of funnel team for setup. So I'm not part of the core team that set things up. I'm one of their sort of regular volunteers and regular runners, but I do a lot of the volunteering. So we were down last night learning how to plot the double funnel and make sure that we have the front gate with the tapes and the back gate with the tapes, and making sure we have the little square blocked off for the person giving out the tokens. So really for me as a volunteer and as a runner, it's been very much coming down those last minutes to make sure that everything gets set up properly on the day for the first run. And I think it's about people being, you know, if you are going back to a park run, they may have had to make some changes. I know there's 1 or 2 park runs around by us who aren't coming back that first couple of weeks. Crane and Kingston aren't going to be coming back straight away, because they've still got to make a few tweaks to their course to try and keep it as COVID secure as they can. But the team has been working really hard behind, because we've had lots of emails through as volunteers, just keeping us updated. So there's things like the scanning is going to be, you know, it's all going to be in the app on your phone. So if you are going to be a volunteer at Parkrun, download the Parkrun app, because then you can do the scanning, the timing, things like that. It's all going to be done via that.
Okay, Al, go on, Matt. Sorry, mate.
I was going to say, Mel, given we're hitting the summer, just curious. I know a number of us travel around the country. We go away with our partners, and some of us, unlike yourself, aren't blessed with partners who love the running. What's the etiquette if you're going away over this summer? Should you be asking your partner for a pass to go and do a local park run, or should you accept that you're on holiday and get back on it after the holiday? Where do you sit with that?
Well, do you know what? I'd not been doing Parkrun very, very long. And the first thing that Carl did when we went away on a holiday up to Settle was, I found where Skipton Parkrun is, and we're going there on the Saturday morning. It was the very first day of my holiday. It was a few years ago now. And I had to run that course. It's 4 laps, and that's 4 up hills. But no
one wants to run 4 laps of anything.
No, to do that tourism is great. But I would say certainly in the first few weeks, just given while Parkrun teams that organise are finding their feet, perhaps with new tweaks to the course, new things that they've had to do to make sure it's COVID secure, you know, unless don't make big journeys just to go and do Parkrun tourism in these next few weeks. I think give teams a chance to find their feet, to get back into the routine. Because I think
I'd imagine people will be anxious to do their own one anyway in the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
They'll be wanting to go back locally, wouldn't they?
I think that's great advice from Mel, actually, in terms of that sort of stuff.
We nearly had a sweepstake last night, because we were saying, how many do we think are going to turn up on Bushy on the first?
Is there a capacity, Mel, at Bushy in terms of how many you can have?
We Christmas 2 years ago, we had over 2,000.
But is there a cap? Can they say, you know, we're only allowed 5,000 people? Because I mean, I've been there, you know, when I came there as well, and it was 1,100 and something, and it was just, you've never seen anything like it. It was like the start of the Grand National.
Well, we're having to move the start. We're having to move the start over slightly. we haven't got a restriction at the moment, but obviously it's in Royal Parks, and there's certain things they've asked us to do about not treading on certain bits. We've got ant hills we've got to avoid now because they're very special ants.
Bloody ants.
So we are having to move our start slightly to the right. So that puts a couple of hazards in at the start of the run. So there's going to be a couple of us standing on big bins, waving around, going, "Don't run into me," and a couple of benches. But it will depend. We'll just have to see how the numbers are. I mean, last night we were saying it could be anything between sort of 800 or 2,000, really.
I think you're going to be over 2,000, Mel.
Yeah, I think you're going to be pushing that Christmas a couple of years ago. I think everyone's going to be champing at the bit to go.
We're going to be ready for that third funnel if we need it, and we've got the letters. I've got to print out the letters because we have letters at Bushy Parkrun funnel as well because of the double funnel. So
actually, I've got a story, right? I've got a story about Mel. So we all went down to Bushy Park because obviously it's the home of Parkrun, and you know, Mel was volunteering down there, and there was loads of us who went down. It was a great day, really great day. I think Bill was there, if I remember right. I can't remember.
Yeah, Billy was
I think Billy was back out running.
He got PB, didn't he?
I can't remember, but anyway, so we was running around, and then you finish, and then you get going around, and all I could hear, and I'm not joking, I was miles away from it. All I could hear was Mel's voice. But you couldn't see her, right? You couldn't see her, but you could hear her. And I reckon that you could probably hear her from miles away. And it just got louder and louder and louder. But she had those funnels, right, working tight. You think you've got that many people going through. But it was hilarious because all you could hear is Mel's voice. Literally, you could tell she's a teacher, telling everybody where to go and when to go. It was hilarious. Brilliant it was, Mel. That is the perfect job for you.
I think you're giving me far more credit for the funnel than it actually was. Yes, the loud voice, yes, but Ray, who's done that funnel for
but you could hear her miles away.
Was amazing. Yeah, you did say. I mean, you did. I can't remember who it was who was videoing the whole thing as well. I said, "Oh, I can hear Mel. I can't see her yet." It was actually on
Al, have we got any questions or observations Parkrun related from the audience?
A couple for Mel. Mel, I think you're kind of doing yourself down when Chris says, you know, you're a star of Bushy Park, because we've had Karen Lumley on and reminded you of her epic trip from the northeast with Ian just to run with you in Bushy Park. So, yeah.
That's
congratulations to Karen for coming down to do that. But it was because of you, Mel. That's what she's saying in the chat.
Oh, bless her. She was running the big half the next day, to be fair.
Hero. That Karen Lumley is a hero of this community.
Yeah. You've already touched on a few things that I think people have asked in terms of changes to expect at Parkrun. Do you think it will feel very different for us as runners? Obviously, a lot's been going on behind the scenes in terms of making the admin and everything else COVID secure, but will we see differences? Will we feel it differently?
I think it depends on the size of your parkrun. I think because if you're generally at a smaller parkrun anyway, I don't think you will notice a lot of differences because you have that range of paces of people coming in. So that would be staggered anyway, and you're a smaller community. I think we will notice it a little bit at Bushy just because of things like we don't know how many people are going to be happy to kind of like squeeze up in the funnel and how many people want to keep more socially distanced. So we're making it wider. So it's going to depend on, I think, some of the runners as they come down and how they feel as well.
Okay. And for those that may be anxious, what's the advice around scanning and that feeding into track and trace? I assume, is that linked or are those two things separate?
As far as I know, they're separate, but obviously Parkrun would have all the details. I don't know the behind the information details of that. I guess looking at their website to find out what they put up with their general policies for that would be the best place to start. But it is all the scanning now is going to be done. So rather than the hand scanners that we used to have for the barcodes, everybody uses their own phone for the app, and then they send their results to the run director. Same with timers. So we're not swapping and sharing equipment. Tokens, you will get handed a token, but you're only holding that for a very short point of time. If you're really worried, then obviously sanitize your hands afterwards. Don't put the token in your mouth. Don't chew it. Don't lick it.
I do that a lot. Sorry, I'm licking my token.
You do all the things that you would do if you're passing something between somebody. You know, that's a very short time of contact.
Lick a token.
Sanitize your hands. And the
It's a bit like saying to kids, don't do something.
Yeah, now you said
Chris
that,
will
Mel,
now
I'm
be
just
so-
going to start.
Yeah, I'm now
Right.
intrigued. I might have to have a bit of a chew on my old token, you know,
Just
while I'm
tot
waiting
it.
to
Don't lick
get
your
scared.
token.
Don't lick it and don't
Before we
nick
go,
it.
Don't lick it and don't nick it. Top tip. Yeah. Tokens of bushy are not souvenirs. We need them back.
Oh, that's the point. I wish I'd nicked mine now. Oh, I'm not allowed to say that, though, am I?
No, Chris. No. Let's not go there.
So Chris, you know, there's Parkrun 5K. What sort of tips would you have, sort of like from a running perspective about doing a parkrun? You know, how would you sort of like, what advice would you give about how people should approach?
I think firstly, I think if you're looking at parkrun solely, right, and I think Alan put something up earlier that their KPI is to get slower times, which means it's more inclusive. It's not about winners. So I think you should go to parkrun with the mindset of you're there to be with other runners and do something awesome. Okay, if you then, you know, want to then move on, maybe then you start worrying about your times because you've done like 50 park runs and you think, actually, I kind of enjoy this in terms of a time trial. Then I would say, and Mel will disagree with this, but I would say that for that week, get your elbows out and get to the front. Doesn't matter what time you're going for, just get your elbows out and get to the front. Give yourself a clear line. Doesn't matter if you're going for 50 minutes or 18 minutes, just get yourself, you know, to the front and give yourself the best chance that you can. And just focus one lap at a time. As always, my number one bit of advice for anything we do, whether it's 5K or a marathon, is break it down and just, you know, put it into manageable chunks up here. So, you know, I'm going to do the first 1K at X, then I'm going to do the second at X. And then you start looking at people, I've called them before on videos, victims. So start looking at people that you don't like the look of. Maybe they're another running club. Maybe they're just in like a horrible colour that, you know, something that's not pink. And then start
black
taking,
shirts with
start
goats on,
taking them down. You know, that's the other thing, isn't it? Start taking people down and start looking at people. But, you know, it's that psychology, isn't it? We've got a competitive spirit in the human brain. And just start, you know, towards the end when you're absolutely blowing out of, start thinking about taking people down. Just break the race down 1K at a time. That's the easiest bit. And if it is laps, like 4 laps, don't bother. Just go on. 4 laps. Who wants to do 4 laps? 4 laps.
Yeah, go somewhere else.
4 laps. It's not normal.
Matt, where are you going? Do you think you'll be fit for a parkrun next week?
Probably not next week for other reasons. But we're quite lucky here. We've got quite a few within sort of a reasonable distance. So my nearest, well, we have one in Sittingbourne, which is laps. It's only 2 laps, Chris. But actually, I go across to the Isle of Sheppey and run along the coast because I can wave to my South End Fordy friends, but also I quite like having something scenic. So I quite like running along the seafront, and it's flat. But yeah, I mean, I would hope, all being well, in August I'll be back running them, and I enjoy them. It's a great way to get those local runners together again, and it gives you a focus each weekend when it would be easier to stay in bed.
Yeah,
so I've got a really good thing here, actually. Listen to this. You know, Super Alan Bowley, right? Before they put him in the old people's home, he got to 49 parkrun, and then obviously got put in his home, and you know that's happens with old people. But there's a rumor that they're going to let him out to do his 50. But where should he do his 50? I think he should do his 50th at Bushy personally, and lick a token and then nick it, Mel.
Yeah.
If you lick the token, I'll sanitize it after.
And go down the wrong tunnel. Yeah.
So yes, we'd love to hear your suggestions of where he should go.
Where should Super Alan Bowley?
I've got a special 49 T-shirt. I don't want to spoil it. My 49 T-shirt is special.
I think we should find one with heels, Alan.
Yeah, you don't want a nice flat one.
A tough
for the
one,
better.
Yeah.
There's lots of traditions at Bushy when you do like 50th or 100th and stuff. You have to bring cake and prosecco.
Oh.
Prosecco's mandatory.
Some alcohol.
I'm after the cake is for me. So should we get into the lightning round, people? Let's
do the lightning round.
Do it.
Let's get right. Stand by for the most.
Al's in charge.
The most awesome graphics
I'm in charge.
I've ever seen in your whole entire life. Stand by, people. It's coming. Hang on. Get ready for the awesome graphics.
Hi, Mel, you're back. It's just me and you. No one's watching. No one's listening. Don't worry.
Okay.
There's no pressure on the lightning round. And I guarantee you, you do know the answers. There's no trick questions. Okay? So keep it simple, keep it succinct, and you'll be fine. So there's only 10 of them, and it is quite quick, so don't worry. Bucket list race? Where would you be going, you know, on that bucket list?
I'm doing it in October. I'm doing London BLM.
London Marathon?
Yeah.
No attempts to go abroad?
Oh, I mean,
Nothing
yeah, I'd like to do
exotic?
that, but that'd only be a half, not a marathon. Yeah.
Just the half. All right. Okay. As it's half, we'll let you off then. We'll stick to the form of London. Pre-race breakfast? What's your tip-off before a race?
Usually porridge.
Yeah. Flavoured or plain?
Oh, plain, made with skim milk, three little cups of oats. No, 1 little cup of oats, 3 little cups of milk, little espresso cup size, done in the microwave for 2.5 minutes.
No jam or honey on top, just to give it a little bit of extra flavour. No. Okay. Keep it pure. Right. Favourite race distance?
Probably that is tricky because probably 10K because it's over quicker.
Yeah. All done in an hour.
I wish.
No need to go on those stupid long runs. No, we'll get you there. Don't worry, we'll get you there. Okay, we've had a bit of this tonight already. Nike or Adidas?
Oh, neither.
If you had to choose a brand, which one would you go for? Neither. Oh, okay,
neither.
Controversial.
I'm a Hoka girl.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, this might then kind of negate the next question. I don't know if they do running shorts, but if they don't, what's your go-to brand of running shorts?
Oh, I like my Tickaboos.
Oh yeah. All colours, all flavours.
Oh, as bright as possible. But I have to say, my favourite Tickaboo running shorts are the FORDY Splat Pinks. They were the speckled ones. They are the best.
Chris will be pleased to hear that, I'm sure. Coke or Pepsi?
Oh, I'm more Coca-Cola at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. But you can be persuaded then by the sounds of it. You might have dabbled.
I may have dabbled with a sugar-free Pepsi, as it used to be called in the old days.
Okay. Just a couple more then. Training in the summer for an autumn race or winter training for spring races?
Oh,
do you prefer to kind of run all hot and sweaty?
Winter every time. I'm kind of the fact I've had to train twice for London, the virtual last year and then this one, both over the summer. It's not a good look for me.
Okay, fair enough. Road or trail running?
Oh God, not trail, definitely road.
No, never tried it.
Oh,
put off because of a bad experience.
I thought a couple of runs that I've done that I didn't realise quite how much trail was involved, including where the other week.
Yeah, that was a bit naughty, wasn't it? I agree with you on that one. So you've got another vote for me on that one. Okay, you've got a 1-song playlist. What will that one song be? Because it's going to be there on all your runs forevermore.
Oh, Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell.
Okay, that's pretty good. And last but not least, Parkrun or Run Disney?
Oh, I've never done Run Disney, but the community at Parkrun, the fact it's every week, it's free, and it's done so much for me personally. Got to be Parkrun. Right.
Fantastic. There you go, Mel. All done and dusted. There was nothing difficult about that. You did know all the answers, as I promised. Well done. Back to the...
Oh, be fair. She's done well there, isn't she? That's under pressure.
Thanks ever so much, Mel, for joining us, giving us all his insight on Parkrun. I hope it goes really well for you next Saturday. You know, what a brilliant job everybody does who volunteers at Parkrun to keep it all going. And I'm glad to see it back. It's going to be great.
I just think Mel's just one of the best people in the community. I mean, we've got absolutely amazing people in the community, like, you know, the captain and the Karen, all the people. But Mel, whenever she turns up, she's always smiling, always laughing. It just, despite her, pushing her way into the newsletter, Mel, we won't talk about that. But she's always got a smile, and she's always a joy to be around. So thanks a lot coming on, Mel. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'd love to have you back, Mel, anytime.
Stick around.
Yeah, and hang about, because we've got some more questions, haven't we, Al, from the audience.
We have coming in from the audience, and Mel may have some input onto this. So Barbara's come back, keen to find out about races, and sounds like she might be interested in Beat the Boat. Was you one of the Beat the Boaters last time it took place? Tell us all about that.
I know why you've asked that, Alan. I hated that.
No,
run.
it's a question from the audience. It's a question from the
I
audience.
was unwell. I don't know. This is proper.
Can I nick her soon for food? I've literally
No,
got food
come on,
ready to
Susie,
go. Yeah.
Now, honestly, we didn't have this with Petra or Sabrina.
No.
Wow.
I'm so sorry. I apologise. Beat the Boat was more of a train run than I expected. And you need him on sometime. He's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, I loved the idea of it. I loved the idea of the beer and prosecco stops. But I was feeling unwell, so I didn't get to drink those. But we dressed as pirates and we were
not aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, just explain a little bit about the concept of Beat the Boat, because it's a bit different, isn't it, as a race?
It is. So basically, it's a road. Well, this particular one, it was along Windsor and on the Windsor Eton Riverside. And basically, you get your family to come along and watch you, but they watch you from the luxury of a boat, which goes along the Thames. And you run the race, and they go up, and then you turn around and come back. And the idea is that you roughly pitch what time you're going to do your 10K in. And the idea is that you get back before they do. So if they have like a 40-minute boat, a 50-minute boat, an hour boat, an hour and 10 boat. I think they even had an hour and 20. And I didn't even get in before that because I was so poorly. I definitely was beaten by the boat.
Well, let's hope that hasn't put Barbara off and that she'll be signing up for Beat the Boat whenever it returns, probably in 2022. I know there's a big Fordy community that loves that race, don't they? It's
the boat going with the community that makes it, and it was one of our best photos for Stu's toilet.
Yeah. That's a brilliant picture, those. And you know what? I think what Mel was saying actually, I think because the guys this week were at run through back in the Olympic Park, and normally it's not a bit unfair to run through maybe, but just running around the West Ham Stadium doesn't really appeal to many people or whatever. But when you go there and there's people from our club and our community all getting together, bright pink, not pink, whatever you rock up in, doesn't matter. And you don't have to be part of the club, but, just part of the community, whatever. It just makes such a difference, such a buzz. It doesn't matter. I think I could be running around the block. And if I see, I go nuts when I see people dressed up in our stuff. I literally lose it when I'm out. I think it makes such a difference when you see somebody, not necessarily, but somebody at one of these events. It really does. It turns it on its head. I think it can turn a really boring, dull 5-lap pony race that you're doing around West Ham Stadium. Sorry about all the West Ham supporters. Into just the most amazing night. I've had some blinding nights down there, and it's basically down to the people that are there from our community and our club.
Agree.
What else we got, Al?
Okay, Daniel Griffin's been waiting very patiently.
Sorry, Daniel.
He's read lots of top tips about what you should do at races. But have you got any, have you got a single piece of advice about what you shouldn't do? For example, don't go out in brand new shoes. What else should you be avoiding on race day?
I'm sure we can all speak from personal experience, can't we?
Yeah. Go on, Captain.
Off the top of my head, don't go off too fast. Made that mistake many a time. Failing to warm up properly.
Yeah.
I think the best advice someone ever told me, because I think when you go to a race, you go there with there's a race mentality, isn't there? Don't expect a personal best every time, because it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, actually, Matt. I think it's the mindset in which you go to that race. You'll find most people achieve their best results when they turn up without a care in the world. You know, and if you've gone and bought new stuff, it's probably because you care too much about that race, and it's probably you've tried something new because you care about that race. So up here already, you're battling not only physically but mentally. So go to a race without a care in the world, rock up, run, and the chances are, if you're free of all the baggage of everything that's on up here, you will absolutely fly.
I think you need to. I think you need to prepare to be adaptable. I think you need to look at the circumstances of what is happening. Sometimes things might not go your way, but alternatively, you might get off to a really good start and things are going your way, and then you can take advantage of that. But don't be too set in your ways about this is what I'm going to do on a particular day, and just try and enjoy it. You know, it's a bit of a cliche, but everybody does get the same medal and all these sort of things.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and with parkrun in mind, it's like we touched upon earlier. It's always next week. You can always go and do another one, and there's so much more that you can get out of the complete experience, more than just what it says on your Strava and what your watch says. So I you know, as a relative novice, I would say, you know, just be prepared to adapt.
We've all run with our watch, you know, and I remember I paced the Royal Parks a couple of years ago, and I don't think I've ever looked at my watch as much. But actually, sometimes looking at your watch constantly can mess with your mind and disrupt those plans. So I've certainly found sometimes running free of a watch and all those cares, you surprise yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for that. It's as always with running, it's a mental thing, isn't it? As we know.
The one other thing I'd say, and I wouldn't just put this in the context of a race, but more broadly running, from personal experience now, don't ignore pain. If you feel something's not right, stop. Yeah, true. You know, whether it's race or a training run, you know, that would be my absolute number one. Don't ignore it.
Yeah, I think. Well, a year, Matt, we was doing London one year. My hamstring went, didn't it? And you was kind enough, bless him, poor captain. We sent Bill off because he was like a maniac that day, and bless him, the captain stuck with me but immediately I was like, you know, sub 4 is off, forget it. I just got to get this home, and the captain basically got me over the line but I knew then, I felt the pain, and what's the point carrying on? What was the point that day? There's none.
I only did that because I'd done Brighton 2 weeks earlier. Had I not done Brighton, mate, I'd have left you too.
Get on with it.
Okay.
What else we got, Al?
What else we got? We haven't got long actually, guys. What else have we got, Big Al?
We've got a few more questions, so we'll try and rush through them.
Fire them on. Let's get everybody on.
How much they deserve. So Pete's just come in. Obviously, he's been training for a half marathon. He reckons he can get quicker, but he's only running 3 or 4 times a week. Is that part of the solution, or is that part of the problem? Should he be running more, or should he be running smarter?
It always comes down to the quality of the sessions and the consistency in which you are training those quality sessions. 3-4 times a week is fine, but how much of those sessions are really like designed, you know, intensive, high effort level speed sessions, hill sessions, that kind of work, because that is ultimately where you'll get your speed from. So you can all go out and do junk miles 3-4 times a week. Yeah, I've gone out and run 10K, I've done 13 miles, whatever. But what was your effort level like? And how precise were you? What was you trying to achieve? What did you get out of it? And where's the training effect going to come from doing that? Because I could go out and run 10K 7 days a week, but what training effects, what benefits that going to have? Zero. But if I then start putting structure into my runs and I drop down to maybe 4 runs a week, but I make 2 of them, moderate effort and a high effort level, and one of them is really drilled into a speed session, the other one's more sort of goal tempo pace, then I'm going to get a much better training effect from those. And instead of doing 7 junk runs, that's the thing. So it's all about quality of runs and quality of sessions. That's why we do what we do with the guys in Hartford and Broxton. It's not a plug. It's just saying, you know, that some of those guys, Ian will tell you straight away, and what Alan's doing in Essex, you know, we try and put on at least 1 run a week for those guys, so they know they're going to get a quality session that is going to benefit them in terms of physical, mental stamina that will ultimately improve their speed over 6 to 8 weeks. Now, I think you will agree, and this is not blowing smoke up my what's it, but to say over the last 6 to 8 weeks, you have got faster from what we've been doing.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah, I have, and other people in the group have as well. Whether their targets are sort of to do 10K, we've got people of all standards, and people who are, you know, looking forward to getting back on the parkrun wagon, and then other people 10Ks, halves. People like myself, I'm doing my first running plan, and it's, you know, having that session and one intense session every week. It's great. I can just pencil it in, and I know I'm doing that on a Tuesday, so that really helps. I mean, have we got? Can we just rattle through a few more? I'm a bit worried about Mel's tea.
We got 3.
Yeah, I'm worried about Carl coming back
3
on. To be honest. What he's going to say next?
Yeah.
We're going to have to bleep him out. Explicit.
So sorry.
Claire Jackson. Claire
Bring
Jackson's
back
been
Carl.
suffering from
Bring
shin
back
splints.
Carl.
Don't, because he will.
Sorry, Claire. I'm trying to get your question over the line.
Come on, sorry, go. Come on, let's get these
Question
questions
from
done.
Claire. Question from Claire. She's been suffering from, I can't even say it now, shin splints, and has not run for 3 weeks. And I think that picked up on Matt's point about running in pain. But given that she's training for Brighton, can she catch up? What should she do? How should she adjust her plan?
When's
Well,
Brighton?
I'm hoping. Where
12th.
Brighton's at September, isn't it?
12th.
Yeah, it's Great North Run Day, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think obviously she's hopefully getting some form of help with that in terms of medical and from a professional person, because you need to see someone professional to help you with your shin splints and show you what you need to do. But yeah, I mean, yeah, of course you can. As long as your baseline fitness has been okay leading up to it, 3 weeks not run. I mean, again, I'm not a qualified medical person, so I can't give you, but from a running point, let's say as a running coach point of view, I would say, yeah, just manage what your expectations are. Yeah. So that's the simplest answer. If you're thinking of going for a PB, maybe not. But if you want to just go and get the medal, which you might as well, then yeah, it's totally doable. But speak to the professionals, please. You know,
Go and enjoy it. It's a great little marathon.
Yeah, with heels.
Little marathon.
Next one, Super Hour. Come on, let's bat them out.
Yeah, we've got a couple. We've got Deirdre wants to know big marathons, big races happening in October and autumn, like the Manchester Marathon. They're going to go ahead. I think we
100%
hope they do, but 100%. Unless
it goes completely what's it, and everyone starts licking their parkrun tokens, then game over. But apart from that, which would all have to blame Mel for putting it on here.
Yeah,
saying
so if you've got a big race, don't tempt fate. Don't lick your parkrun.
Yeah, don't go to your parkrun.
Because it'll be your own fault.
Don't do a Mel. But yeah, we think it will. 100%.
Okay, then last one.
Got a couple more. Last one. Oh, okay, last one. It's just come in, hot off the press. Apparently, there's a Toby from Broxbourne wants to know halloumi fries with the big double whopper cheese, Chris, or not?
Toby who?
Good question. Toby who? Good question.
You've got to watch at the end of the video because he finds out how much I stitched him up on the second part, right? He doesn't realise how much I actually stitched him up. It is quality. It is quality, people. And I think that's it, isn't it, guys? I think
we're winding up towards an hour. Mel's tea's getting cold, so we're going to have to chip off.
Yeah, I'm worried about
it's probably in the bin.
Carl and his dinner.
Gin's come already.
Oh, well, that's all right. Well, as long as you've got your priorities right, that's great. Mel, thanks ever so much for coming on. You've been a terrific guest, and we'd love to have you back. Wish you all the best, everybody at Bushy Parkrun, and all Parkrun volunteers and participants next week.
Absolutely. Thank you, Marshall.
If you haven't done one before, check out the Parkrun website, sign yourself up, go along. You won't regret it. It will change your life, like it's changed lots of people's lives. So I'd thoroughly recommend that. We've got I'll just give a quick hello to Ray Solers, who's our official representative for California. He's got 10K tomorrow, so he's going to smash them out. Yeah, I wish him all the best. Well, I mean, he's not even having his lunch yet, so he's still got plenty of time until he's got to do that 10K. Matt, thanks ever so much for stepping into the breach, mate. Hopefully, you will be able to get you involved.
I think
on a regular basis.
It's better this way without Toby.
So should I not let him out the cupboard tonight?
Vote the panel.
Don't let him out of the Portaloo.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's lovely to have you on, mate. And I'm sure we'll be seeing you again very, very soon. Wish you all the best for your recovery, and
thanks, mate.
See you back out there and meeting you all in person and seeing us back at races. I'm sure it will be. It'll be brilliant. Cheers, Chris.
You're welcome. I've got to drive Swansea now.
Yeah, get yourself on the M4, mate.
Yeah. If you see blue flashing lights, it's probably them chasing me on the way to Swansea. You shouldn't say that. Mrs. Ford's probably watching this.
Well, yeah. Look after yourself, mate. Take care,
Thanks,
and and learn lots. Pay attention. Okay, that's great. Thanks ever so much, everybody, for joining us this week. We'll be back next week, 7 o'clock. A reminder that you can download this as a podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Google. So it'd be lovely to get your feedback as well. So if you've got the opportunity to give us a review on those, that would be brilliant too. So please join us again on the long run next week at 7 o'clock on Friday. And enjoy your running this weekend, and we will see you again soon. Thanks very much.